Hi, I'm Marc, and on this channel I'm talking about Brexit and UK politics. And now anyone born after 2009 should never be able to legally buy cigarettes in Great Britain or England. But that's what Prime Minister Rishi Sunak wants, and his predecessor in office is now railing against this plan. So few topics polarize Western society as much as the debate about smoking bans, and Great Britain's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak recently came out as a representative of a very hard line. He wants to ensure that 14-year-olds are banned from buying tobacco for the rest of their lives by increasing the age limit for purchasing tobacco by 1 year every year from the current 18 years. Strict anti-tobacco course based on the New Zealand model is what he wants. Rishi Sunak now wants to ban those young people from smoking overall. So 14-year-olds should never be able to legally buy cigarettes. Later in the age, I mean. In addition, the age limit for purchasing, when it's getting increased, that will never happen for them. And British Prime Minister Sunak wants to increase the minimum age consuming tobacco products in Great Britain every year. That means sometime it will be at 100 and whatever. In this way, it can be achieved that young people who are now 14 years old can never be legally sold a cigarette, and that they and their generation can grow up smoke-free. That's at least what Sunak said on Wednesday at the annual conference of his Conservative Tory party in Manchester. A law proposed by Sunak would ban the sale of tobacco products to people born after January 1st in 2009. And in this way, the minimum smoking age would de facto be raised by 1 year every year until the entire population is affected in the long term. There is no safe age for smoking, emphasized the Prime Minister. Sunak's office said that the consumption of e-cigarettes, known as vaping, should also be more limited in order to protect young people in particular. For example, it is possible to ban certain flavors and regulate the packaging of e-cigarettes to make them less appealing to children. Tobacco use is the leading preventable cause of death in the UK and accounts for around 1 in 4 cancer deaths, as the government says. According to the information, the costs that smoking causes, especially for the health system, amount to the equivalent of almost 20 billion euros per year. But Boris Johnson reacts to Sunak's plans in his own way. On Friday, the ex-Prime Minister published an angry polemic in the tabloid Daily Mail, warning of a smoking apartheid that threatened everyone born after January 1st, 2009. Child A will be able to smoke like a chimney until the end of his days. Child B, born just 1 day later, will be a criminal if he does, Johnson wrote. And there would currently be an epidemic of shoplifting in the country that the police cannot do anything about. We are proposing to criminalize yet another variant of ordinary behavior without considering the consequences for those who have to implement it, Johnson said. One should put oneself in the position of a rape victim looking for justice, while the justice system is overloaded with ridiculous trivialities, as he says, namely dealing with people who simply refuse to obey the government and continue to smoke cigarettes regardless of their date of birth. To justify his plans, Sunak said he wanted to ensure that the young generation could grow up smoke-free. None of us want our children to grow up smoking. That's what he wrote on X, formerly Twitter. The ability of young people to obtain e-cigarettes should also be severely restricted, as I said. England, the largest part of Britain, wants to be smoke-free by 2030. However, according to studies, the goal will be missed by several years. Most recently, the British government, which is responsible for England, they don't have a devolved government, they announced, among other things, a pilot project in which e-cigarettes would be made available free of charge to 1 million smokers. At the turn of the year, New Zealand enshrined in law that anyone born since January 1st, 2009 could never buy tobacco in their lives. This includes raising the minimum age for buying cigarettes by 1 year every year from 2027. Boris Johnson, of course, has attacked his successor Rishi Sunak on a number of occasions since he resigned as Prime Minister in July 22 and not only today. But there are several topics, for example, the Sunak handling of the economy, with Johnson accusing him of raising taxes too much and failing to do enough to help people with the cost of living crisis. Or Sunak's decision to resign from Johnson's government, which Johnson has described as a betrayal. Or Sunak's personal wealth and the wife's non-domiciled tax status at the time. Well, in particular, Johnson has criticized Sunak's decision to raise national insurance, that's a tax on earnings, in April 22. And Johnson has said that this tax rise was unnecessary and has made it harder for people to make ends meet. And he also criticized Sunak's decision to cut the universal credit uplift, that was a temporary increase in benefits that was introduced during the pandemic. Johnson has also been critical of Sunak's personal wealth and his wife's non-domiciled tax status. As I said, Sunak's wife, Akshata Murthy, is the daughter of an Indian billionaire. She is non-domiciled in the UK, which means that she does not have to pay UK tax on her overseas earnings. This has led to accusations of Sunak and his wives that they are out of touch with the struggles of ordinary people. They changed something about this, but Johnson still fired on them. In addition to these specific criticisms, Johnson has also made more general attacks on Sunak's leadership. He has accused Sunak of being too cautious and of lacking the vision to be a prime minister. So, of course, when Sunak gives him a chance with the smoking ban now, Johnson took the chance again. And if you want to see another video right now or visit my newest channel, which is doing really well, it's all right here on the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.